Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Whittle, and this is The Firewall. You know, every time there's a shooting in America, our moral betters on the left immediately ammo up the assault rifle of their rhetorical arsenal, namely, our country's sick, twisted obsession with personal firearms, our adolescent psychosexual, dangerous, and frankly embarrassing when facing our European film critic friends, American gun culture. So, hopping over to the ever-reliable Wikipedia, for example, we discovered that when it comes to per capita gun ownership, the USA does in fact top the list in glory. When measured as the number of guns per 100 residents, the US comes in first at 90. 90 guns per 100 residents. Evidence for the progressives on the left that they do in fact live in the murder capital of the world, because when it comes to gun ownership, America is number one with a bullet, with by far the highest per capita gun ownership in the world. 90 guns per 100 people is half again more than the number 2 spot held by Serbia with 58. Now, all we have to do to prove the left-wing progressive weenie case for banning guns is to do a quick search for the per capita murder rate. And sure enough, leading the number 2 country, again by about half again more, with 90 murders per 100,000 people is Honduras. Socialist gun-controlled Honduras. Because even though America has by far the highest per capita gun ownership rate, we do not have the highest per capita murder rate. And unfortunately for the progressive leftist argument, we're not second either. Or third. In fact, when it comes to per capita murders, Team USA didn't even make the top 5. As a matter of fact, we didn't even make the top 10, or the top 20, or the top 30, or the top 40. We're not in the top 50 per capita murders. Gun Culture America is not in the top 60 nations in terms of per capita murders, or the top 70, or even the top 80, or the top 90. Of the 218 nations and territories listed for per capita murders, the United States of America, Murderville, USA, did not break the top 100. We are, with 4.7 murders per 100,000 people in 2012, number 111. 111th place puts us near the top of the bottom half of all the nations and territories in the world when it comes to total per capita murders, and virtually all, if not all, of those nations ranked higher than us are big state socialist utopias with stringent gun control laws. How tragically disappointing that must be for our moral superiors, and unfortunately for the left, it gets a lot worse, because 111th place, America's murder rate of 4.7 per 100,000 citizens, is artificially much higher than it should be, because it includes so many deadly, murderous, toxic places like number 1 on the list of highly gun-controlled, democratically governed since the Stone Age murder pits like Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, with strict gun control laws, has a per capita murder rate of 54.6 murders per 100,000 citizens. If Detroit were its own country, it would just beat Venezuela for second as the most murderous country in the world, behind Honduras. America's 111th place, 4.7 murder per 100,000 people, also includes, in order, democratically controlled, heavily gun-controlled New Orleans with 53.2 murders per 100,000, St. Louis with 35.5, Baltimore with 34.9, Newark with 34.4, Oakland with 31.8, followed by Stockton 23.7, Kansas City 22.6, Philadelphia 21.5, Cleveland 21.3, Memphis 20.2, and Atlanta 19.0, and of course Chicago with 18.5 murders per 100,000 people per year. America's per capita average of 4.7 murders includes all of these high crime areas. The first city to appear in gun-mad Texas is Dallas, which isn't even in the top 20. America's overall average of 4.7 is as low as it is because of places like Plano, Texas. It's the last city on the list with a murder rate of 0.4. Now, having been to Plano, Texas several times, I can tell you with confidence that virtually every home in Plano, Texas has an entire arsenal of AR-15 assault rifles, semi-automatic shotguns, 30-06 hunting rifles. They got 45s, 357s, they got 38s, they've got 9mm. They have an assortment of 22s for the kids to practice with, not to mention every species of tomahawk, bowie knife, hunting knife, jackknife, bayonet, switchblade. They've got pointy rocks, they've got sharp sticks. the per capita murder rate in Gun Nut Central is 0.4 per 100,000. If the United States of America as a nation had the same murder rate as Plano, Texas, we would not be 111 out of 218. We'd be 211 out of 218, well below Switzerland at 0.6, half of Germany, Spain, and Denmark at 0.8 murders, and well below half of New Zealand, the Netherlands, Austria, Italy, France, and Australia. If all of America had the murder rate of the gun nut capital of Gun Culture USA, Plano, Texas, then America's per capita murder rate would be 1/4 of those murderous, violent, rampaging, death-worshipping Belgians with their horrific 1.6 murders per 100,000. So maybe it's not the guns. Maybe it's the people holding the guns. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
All right, we're back. Like that, this is your regular scheduled programming. You get that off the off of YouTube if anybody has trouble finding it. Again, email me, we'll find it for you. Yeah. We shall begin with Freedom Forum on this, the 4th day of the 3rd month, the year of our Lord Jesus the Christ, 2015. Heavenly Father, give us the strength, the wisdom, the courage, and the patience to do your will in all things. In Jesus the Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let's see, what do we got for announcements tonight? Tomorrow night, the regular Freedom Forum public meeting at Elise's at 6:30. Of course, we get there early, so if you want to chat a bit, come early. A little after 5. And then the following Thursday,
Ta-da!
Acadiana Patriots.
Acadiana Patriots. Going to be a pretty awesome meeting. It's March the 12th, 6 to 8:30 at the Robichaux Recreation Center across the street from the Cox building. And for those out of town, 1919 Eras Landry Road, Lafayette. Or you can call 654-2805 for more information. The event. This is a call to all patriots. It is time to get involved when we have the numbers, we the people accomplish great things. And I'm going to tell you something, that H.R. 5, that was a nationwide.
Yeah.
Nationwide. I mean, people actually called and hammered D.C. So that statement lives in itself. We will have updates on park testing issues, which, it's not in the news too much.
No.
Not at all. Common Core School Board resolution is working its way there. The Common Core rally at the Capitol has been changed to April 29th. The main gist of the meeting, come learn about the Convention of States from the Louisiana State Director, Bryce Barra. Some think it's a good idea and others don't. Also, we're going to have Jim Walker. He's going to give the other viewpoint on Convention of the States. We try and keep it, as Fox said, balanced. Come find out why. Rob Maness will be talking about his Gator Pack, conservative Gator Pack, and explain how it's going. And I have talked to Rob about this. Be pretty stringent. Patriots, we need to take back our countries, so make a great effort to attend the meeting and bring a friend. And I said, God bless all of you in the message. Now, April's meeting, not confirmed yet. There is a young group of college students coming. You're not going to want to miss them. That'll be April 9th. And there's another thing in the works, not quite confirmed yet.
Still working on a sneaky one. It's a secret for now.
This one will be a good one.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
The other thing pending right now that we have just started to put out, wait a second, where is it? Here we go. Come on, it's not going to come up. The proposed ammunition ban that is being bounced about in Washington
By the
to
dictator.
ban a green tip 223 or 5.56 ammo. I think it's a 5.56. There's a little bit of difference. 5.56 is a little bit hotter than 223, and also one of them, the case is a little bit longer. So some rifles can handle both, some rifles can't. But the problem with this ban they're proposing as armor-piercing ammunition is that they're claiming it's because all of it penetrates soft body armor that police wear. Excuse me. Well, the problem with that, and the police know it, the Fraternal Order of Police have come out against the ban. Any rifle round will penetrate soft body armor if it's of sufficient velocity, and 99% of them are. Some of the light, older rifle rounds, the smaller stuff, won't. But this stuff will penetrate level 2A soft body armor. Well, excuse me, but there goes your hunting. If this is successful, it's going to give them the impetus to go after other things. So, yeah.
What puzzles me is why doesn't the government require that police officers wear better vests?
Well, because if police officers wore vests that would stop that rifle round, it would weigh 30 pounds. And it'd be, the plate that they would have to put in it would be the equivalent of the military issue field plates, which when they're combined with the vest weigh 30 pounds front and back, and they're very bulky.
That would solve the problem.
Yeah, that would take care of the problem.
Legislation that they want to do, it doesn't solve the problem.
No. Again, it's eyewash is all it is. And so you need to write to your, or call, just like what happened with House Bill 5, to do something about it. Of course, here lately, the Republicans have not shown a real interest in stopping things like this,
Yeah,
i.e. Obama's executive decisions, executive actions.
which are totally unconstitutional.
Like he did, he just did his amnesty crap, and the Republicans have rolled over and played dead on that.
Well,
'Cause
they found out he actually has moved forward on that, and nobody knew. And as 7 million have been signed up. Read that today, just before I came here.
Yep.
That's so Republicans claim they need a Republican president. All we need to do is get
Well, they're not gonna get a Republican president if all them people are made legal.
Right.
That's why they're doing this. That and bringing how many Syrian Muslims over here?
Tens of
5 million?
thousands.
Huh?
It was tens of thousands the last time I heard.
It's up in the millions now.
Oh,
Yeah. And we will spread them around the country.
kind of like they're doing the Common Core teachers.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That could be an interesting thing that I bring up tomorrow. And by the way, the Bessie Board meets tomorrow. If you can make it to Baton Rouge, 9 a.m. at the Claiborne Building by the Capitol.
Yep. Okay, here it finally came up. I got it up. The other two things they're doing towards eliminating our Article 2 rights
Oh, that
are,
baby. Oh.
what the heck did they do here? It's kind of strange what happened here, and it's a technical thing. But back in last year, the ATFE had approved an item called a pistol brace, and it's a bizarre twist that they did. as far as their wording and such, but we were kind of surprised they did it. And the pistol brace allows somebody that's got an AR-15 pistol, that is a short barrel AR-15 with no stock on it, is considered a pistol. And this thing mounts on the back of it, and it straps onto the arm so it gives better support when firing the so-called pistol. Now, I'm using the terminology that they use for that short rifle. That's what it is. It's a short rifle without a stock. But they're calling it a pistol because it doesn't have a stock and it's got a shorter than 16-inch barrel. Well, mid-January suddenly, after a bunch of people had bought those pistol braces last year, they reversed themselves and said, no, you can't have that. It turns it into a rifle. And that, therefore, it has to be registered as a short rifle. And if not, then you get into all kind of trouble. Well, there again, they've been known to do this kind of garbage in the past. They did it with some shotguns several years ago, suddenly declare, wave their magic bureaucratic wand and declare that two kinds of shotguns were suddenly destructive devices and no longer shotguns. The USAS-12 and the Street Sweeper. They were watching too many movies like The Wild Geese, which they used the Street Sweeper in a typical Hollywood fashion, loading it with, it fires 12-gauge shotgun shells, but they were using nuclear tipped ones apparently in the movie because it was blowing up entire trucks with one shot. And apparently BATFE back then watched that movie and they decided, ooh, we can't have the people having that kind of weapon. It's really a strange one for them to do anything with. A pump shotgun is more effective than that Street Sweeper is. And the USAS-12 is just a magazine-fed semi-auto shotgun, is all it was. And then they're also clamping down on gunsmiths. And when you'll have to look at what they want to do here. It's wordy and it's technical, but they want to further restrict gunsmiths and put as many out of business as they can, I'm sure. So that's the triple whammy that they're trying this year. They couldn't get it done by any other way, so they're going to try and do it with executive fiats coming either from BATFE itself or from Obama, like on the ammunition. And I mentioned in the email I sent to everybody about the this is more of the death of 1,000 cuts. And wait a minute, that's the wrong one came up. Wait a second. There's something closer to home that we need to take a look at that has just occurred or is just reported. It happened last Wednesday. So-called vandals in Arizona, north of Phoenix, cut a fiber optic cable and knocked out several places in Phoenix and outlying towns to northern Arizona, into northern Arizona, knocked out their cell phone services. This was intentional. They're calling it sabotage. Now, this is the third thing that we know about that has occurred recently. Okay. The first thing was last year, a few months back, when an electrical substation was knocked out in California by rifle fire. And apparently, we haven't heard about anything dealing with that, so apparently they haven't found out who did that one. It knocked out the electricity to a widespread area for several hours anyway. And the other thing that happened just, 2 weeks ago, was that fellow drives his truck and trailer onto a railroad track and then left it and ran away.
Yeah. and it wasn't broken.
Right. The investigators this week, the NTSB investigators said that there was no reason that truck should have stalled. It was not stuck. It was not in a position to be stuck on the track. The driver ran away from the scene.
He did. They found him hiding.
Yeah, they found him hiding. And this is the kind of thing that we can very well expect an opposing force to utilize guerrilla warfare with, this kind of thing.
You're going to talk about the mall thing?
Well, that I think we talked about that last week. The
No,
mall.
it just happened.
Which one?
Where the security guys, one guy got a broken nose, and
Oh, I didn't hear about that one yet.
oh yeah, they had a group of, we won't distinguish, but a group of youngsters in the mall that started some crap, and then they called security, and this is where you got to be aware now. And security came and was trying to get them to settle down, and one thing led to another, and then the security people tried to contain them, and they got hammered, and one guy got a broken nose, other guy had bruises, and 7 of them got arrested. Acadiana Mall.
Oh, that was here. I
That
didn't
was
hear.
here in Lafayette.
That must have just happened.
So
huh?
I'm telling you, first of all, I'm not a big mall person, but
No.
I only go there if I have to. And I actually told the wife, you don't want to go to the mall
No.
alone.
No.
I think it was last Friday.
Huh?
Last Friday, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was last Friday. This is the stuff. This is planned. I don't care what anybody says. And my feeling on that is, what did we advertise? That the jihads were going to attack the Mall of America. And now you have these groups of uncontrolled youngsters that go to the mall. And I mean, I can tell you, I was in the mall. I went to AT&T, and I saw a group of them, and it was like I was back in Vietnam, because my head was a revolving door. And I kept track of them while I was walking through the mall. And now that I have this feeling that I can't even go to the mall and feel secure, not a good deal. And it's going to get worse.
You've got to stay alert, folks. We have preached
Be
alertness,
on your toes.
especially at the meetings. And of course, tomorrow night, if y'all want to discuss, if somebody that shows up that wants to discuss this in more detail, we've discussed it in detail several times at meetings over the last year and a half, 2 years. So if y'all want to discuss it again, come to the meeting. That's the kind of stuff we talk about at the meetings.
And not what you think or other people tell you. It's
The,
very, very educational stuff.
We got some very capable people there that are letting folks share their experience and expertise. So we're trying to, with the meetings, we're basically trying to make people safer
Yeah.
on your own. We're teaching you,
You really
what
have
things
to
you
be
can
aware.
do to protect yourself. All right. U.S. is running out of oil.
This is good.
Oh no, it says running out of room to store oil.
Not running out of oil.
This was in today's paper. And some other folks had heard some things about this also. Again, this had come up when the oil prices started falling back a few months ago, and now it's continuing. We've got so much crude in this country, we're running out of places to put it, and that could drive oil and gasoline prices even lower in the coming months.
To the chagrin of the oil field.
For the past 7 weeks, the United States has been producing and importing an average of 1 million more barrels of oil every day than it's consuming. That extra crude's flowing into storage tanks, especially at the main trading hub in Cushing, Oklahoma, pushing supplies to the highest point in 80 years.
Drop some money. Guy going out the door.
And so what we can expect perhaps is prices to either stabilize or come down a little bit again. But don't count on it coming back down to where it was.
I don't think it'll get down as low as it did before.
No, I don't think so.
It's going to run right around where it's at now.
Probably. But there's plenty of oil out there. Okay, regardless of what the government or the environmental wackos, and we'll talk a little about some environmental wackos tonight,
Really?
have to say.
We don't
So-
have any of those.
Oh no, it's institutionalized.
Yeah.
They're getting government grants right and left.
Oh, yeah.
Universities are getting government grants to institutionalize, and they need to be institutionalized, all right? They need to be put in asylums.
You saw the article on Antarctica, huh?
Which one?
The one that said that it did exactly the opposite of what they predicted.
Yeah.
What was it, 10 or 15% increase in?
Hey,
And what I like is how we went from, what was it called? Warming?
oh yeah,
Well, to climate change.
yeah.
Now, the global warming thing went out the window. Why?
Well, the weather that we've been having here is kind of giving people the
What's going to happen?
false idea that there's no global
I
warming.
have a
happening.
short sleeve shirt on right now. Tomorrow morning I won't have a short sleeve shirt on. Because in South Louisiana, on March the 5th,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to get down to 28 degrees. Global warming.
Mm-hmm.
But what they said is, this is what I like about this now. If you read the papers, it's the climate change that's causing these problems. Wait a minute. It's like, so it was 78 degrees today. It's still about 70 degrees outside.
Yeah, it's muggy too. That's
And it's
because of the
muggy.
rain.
And then all of a sudden this little front's going to pass through tonight. And tomorrow morning when you walk out to get your newspaper, you better have a jacket on.
Yeah. And don't go out in your flip-flops with no hat on. Well, let me read while we're on that. Rich Lowry's column from a few days ago, yesterday.
It's amazing. But what's amazing is how many people buy it.
Well, here's why. Here's why right here. This is a good synopsis of what's happening. We've talked about this before. There's nothing new as such here, but he puts it all together nicely. Shameful climate witch hunt. Let the climate inquisition begin. The ranking Democrat on the House Natural Resources Committee, Raul Grijalva of Arizona, has written to 7 universities about 7 researchers who harbor impure thoughts about climate change.
Impure.
Yes. One of the targets is Stephen Hayward, an author and academic now at Pepperdine University. As Hayward puts it, the spirit of the inquiry is, quote, "Are you now or have you ever been a climate skeptic?" Unquote. Grijalva's letters were prompted by the revelation that Y. Hock Soon, a scientist at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics and a skeptic,
Skeptic?
did not adequately disclose support for his research from energy interests. Soon's lapse aside, the assumption of Grijalva's fishing expedition is that anyone who questions global warming orthodoxy is a greedy tool of big oil and must be harried in the name of planetary justice and survival. Science as an enterprise usually does not need political enforcers. But the proponents of a climate alarmism demanding immediate action to avert worldwide catastrophe won't and cannot simply let the science speak for itself. In fact, for people who claim to champion science, they have the least scientific temperament imaginable. Their attitude owes more to Trofim Lysenko, the high priest of the Soviet Union's politicized science, than, say, to Gregor Mendel, the founder of modern genetics, whose work was shunned by Lysenko for ideological reasons. So what we've got is a Soviet era style science project at work here. And that's the so-called global warming debacle. Let's consider the plight of Robert Pilkey Jr. of the University of Colorado Boulder, who has done work on extreme weather. He too is on the receiving end of one of Grijalva's letters. At first blush, Pilkey seems more unlikely target. It's not that he doubts climate change or that it could be harmful. His offense is merely pointing to data showing that extreme weather events like hurricanes, tornadoes, and droughts have not yet been affected by climate change. And this is enough to enrage advocates who need immediate disasters as a handy political club. It can't be apocalypse 100 years from now. It has to be apocalypse now.
Yeah.
Eager to blame the ongoing California drought on climate change, John Holdren, President Obama's science czar, challenged Pilkey on droughts, citing various research showing they may be getting worse. Oh my. But the Bible of the climate consensus, the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, says, quote, there is not enough evidence at present to suggest more than low confidence in a global scale observed trend in drought or dryness, lack of rainfall, since the middle of the 20th century, unquote. I mean, I thought it was a foregone conclusion this was all, but the UN itself, their number one agency for all of this garbage has said, there ain't enough evidence. There's not enough information.
But it's one scientist after another.
Yeah, but wait. To move a political debate, this simply is not good enough.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's impossible to scare people with a long list of methodological imponderabilities and projections showing far off harms should the modeling hold up over 8 decades. We can't wait 8 decades. That's 80 years, folks. We can't wait that long. The government can't wait that long. Where was I?
8 decades.
The imperative, thank you. The imperative is to show that in Holdren's words, quote, climate change is an urgent public health, safety, national security, and environmental imperative,
Oh
unquote.
my God. I won't sleep tonight.
No. It has to be counted a small victory in this project that Pilkey will no longer be an obstacle. Citing his harassment, Pilkey has sworn off academic work on climate issues. And so the alarmists have hounded a serious researcher out of the climate business. All hail science. Or is it this side? It's this side now.
Yeah,
it's left. It's the left fist.
Left.
These are progressives. Yeah.
We can't do what he did on the air.
No, we can't do that. No one finger
Can't do
salute.
that.
This is a family program. But you see what they're doing, folks. This is
It's a con.
this is going on all over the country at every level. These universities are being blackmailed into accepting the climate change myth, okay, so that they can get government grants. And in order to keep the government grant for next year, they have to come up with science papers proving the existence of this adverse climate change based on human condition. The humans are causing this.
And see, things like my GE stock depend on these lies.
Yeah.
Because they're placing everything in the green world.
Yeah. These major corporations are at the heart of this. They're acting.
It's amazing.
They're acting like they're the aggressors. It's like these clowns are saying here. It's like what he says up here that these people that this Congress critter is after. He's trying to disclose their support, that the support they're getting for their research from energy interests or the big corporations like GE, when in reality those big corporations and energy interests, etc., are the ones actually pushing this stuff, because like GE, They're gonna make tons of government money off
They're
of this
just sitting
stuff.
there waiting.
Yeah. And the same thing goes
And they
for
don't pay any taxes either.
Yeah. It's all a scam, people. When are you gonna wake up to this?
And see, I said that, and I retired from GE.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be afraid. Yeah, you want to?
They haven't mined your car yet.
No,
No.
they haven't not sent me a check either. We want to talk about teachers.
Wait a second.
What do you got?
There was something. No, that's all we had on that. We'll go back to some of that other stuff. Teachers, man, we don't want to talk about teachers.
Yeah,
We want the teachers.
Well-
Nobody wants to care. Nobody cares about teachers.
teachers. If there's any teachers watching, I'll give you a couple of a minute or so. Call your teacher friends because you're going to want to hear this. And this is also going to be brought up tomorrow at the Bessie meeting. This is actually on the agenda tomorrow.
Oh, good.
Okay, I just happened to be going through some emails and Facebook, and I got this. How many people know what Teach for America is? Well, guess what? We have a contract with Teach for America to put 500 teachers throughout the state of Louisiana in school year 14 and 15, 15 and 16. Okay, here's the deal. The previous contract amount was $1 million. Who approved this? Okay, this year's contract amount is slightly less by 80,000 or so. Anyways, the contact person's name is Kunja, I don't know how you say that, Narachani. Anyways, his telephone number is 225-342-3563. And he's the executive office and sole source. The purpose of this is to recruit and place approximately 500 I didn't say replace, but we probably should say that. Approximately 500 state and federally qualified teachers in Louisiana public schools through the 2015-2016 year.
Federally qualified.
Federally, oh, we're getting to that. Placement of qualified individuals in teaching positions in order to ensure that each student in Louisiana is being taught by a qualified, driven, and engaging teacher. Now, if I was a teacher and I read that, that's like a smack in the face. So what are the teachers that are teaching now? They're not qualified, driven, or engaging teachers?
Must not be.
Some of them I talk to, and some of them would like to engage some other things, but now, departmental goal. This is coming out of Bessie, by the way. Let's see. Placement of qualified individuals in teaching positions in order to ensure that each student in Louisiana is being taught. I said that already. The contractor will train and place approximately 500 for Teach for America course in Louisiana public schools. The contractor will also support and provide professional development opportunities to the teachers to achieve ambitious and measurable results with their students. What I'm telling you right now is, you go to the Teach for America website and you read about Teach for America teachers. Okay, and by the way, our chamber president or CEO, his wife was once a member of Teach for America. And so if you can conclude why they want Common Core, that might be an easy thing. Impacted Louisiana students attending under-resourced schools in Louisiana. I mean, there's a lot of negative here. It's like the being 49th deal. I will tell you this. These teachers are not near as qualified from what I read on Teach for America website and through other resources as the teachers we already have in school. But here's the problem. and I hear this almost every day now when I run into teachers. Here is the problem. They've had enough. They've just had enough. I mean, I heard it this morning at a thing at our church, that a teacher told me who's been in the teaching system for at least 30 or 35 years. He's had enough. He's getting out. He can't deal with all the crap. It's just not there. And if you people, teachers especially, and I don't blame you for retiring, but the thing is this is what they want. This is why they're making things so difficult.
Yeah.
For you to do your job. We're not teaching anymore. Every teacher, honest teacher that I've talked to, tells me they're teaching to the test. They spend in 2 months to teach to the test. And why the big fuss? It's easy. Really easy. You start listening to parents. My challenge to John White tomorrow, and I'll challenge him when I speak, is how many town halls have you attended where the teachers, the parents, and the children have testified? And their answer will be 0. A friend of mine and I went back through articles that each of us had that were spoken by John White, Chaz Romer. Nowhere in any of those articles did we find anything of a statement that said anything about the children. It's all about money, people. It's all about the push. I mean, the push for charter schools? Why would Romer be interested in that? Oh, let's see. His sister is the head of the charter schools in Louisiana. Wonder how she got that job.
That's a coincidence.
John White, why does he want the Park Consortium? Well, let's see. When I went to the website, I found out that John White is an executive director with the Park Consortium.
That's just coincidence.
That's, and the thing that's hidden very well is if he gets paid or not, which we probably know
Why
the
wouldn't
answer to
he
that.
get paid?
But the other thing is, and this is for the teachers, be aware. I got the chart. This is a contract. Be aware. Your job is in jeopardy. And they're going to do what they can to push you out. Why would we want to spread 500 teachers across the state of Louisiana and Teach for America, controlled by Common Core money? Put that down. And the other thing is, are those Teach for America people going to complain about Common Core? No.
Nope.
Not at all. And I liken it to the fact of what's going on in this country today with amnesty. Why is there a big push for illegal amnesty to be legal? It's the same thing. People have to take and look at the big picture. Look at Obamacare. Look at amnesty. Look at the school stuff. It's all federally controlled. Now, I'm going to give you a little analogy. We'll read something on Pearson in a little while, or the second half. But I was in a press conference, and I'm going back to that. And they were pushing the fact about we want to have this test to benchmark, to get a benchmark for where our children stand with the rest of the country. Very interesting. I've sometimes been accused of being too logical, which is a good thing.
Well, considering that they show no logic or common sense, then those
None.
of us that have any are far superior.
So what was pointed out at this meeting was in the Park Consortium, of which an article 3 days later lied and said we were one of 10, there are 10 states still in the Park Consortium and DC. So forget about DC. That means 80% of the states are not going to take the park test. Okay? So my logic tells me that how are you telling me that we're going to take a park test, which it isn't, by the way, the park test, because we don't have a contract with Pearson through DRC. that is going to give us a good benchmark when 80% of the country is not taking the test.
I'll tell you how they're going to do that. I just had a little light bulb click.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say Louisiana ranks 4th or 5th in the test, for the sake of argument. Then they will advertise this as Louisiana came 4th or 5th and came into 4th or 5th place in the park test, and they won't bother to tell you it was only 10 states out of 50 taking it. It's kind of the way the Soviet Union used to advertise for their own people when there was a track meet between them and the United States. They would advertise that as glorious Soviet team came in second in international track competition.
Yes.
Imperialist United States came in second to last. This is how you do these things.
Yeah,
It is.
the call-in number is 366-8950.
We'll get that in there.
But the thing is that when you have to sit back and look at this stuff and put it in perspective.
Yeah,
Now, do you think I'm going to point this out tomorrow?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here he goes again. Speaking that real stuff and not reality. The real stuff, the truth. I mean, you have to get up and challenge those people. I mean, I'll tell you what. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Not the long day, by the way. But, you know, because they just, the agenda, things that they don't want parents to be there to talk about, they just slide down to 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that you have to logically look at the big picture. It's the same way Tom and I talked about us being 49th. And I brought that up at the press conference. Gee, I wonder why. And a good guy named Toby Daspit from UL was there on our team, and he was in the front. And I brought up the thing about us being 49th and the 100%. This is how these people get around you. They tell you that we're 49th. Only 9 states out of 50 test 100% of their students. And so our illustrious assistant superintendent says to me, well, we just started that last year. And I went, Sandra, the paperwork that I had that in, where I got that report, was from 2012.
That was last year under Common Core chronology.
Oh yeah, the way it works in Gorner was 2012. And then my partner in the front, who was sitting up there, does what Tom and I talked about, was the other column on there about the scores. And from the top to the bottom school number 50 was less than 3% difference. But you see, they don't say that logic.
And that's even with most of the states only testing
20 to
20
40%.
20 to 40%, if that, many of them less than that.
And then you look at globally.
Globally, it's the same way.
It's the same thing.
These countries that they keep comparing, this country, yeah, we've got a
Finland,
bad
Sweden.
problem, right? We've got a bad problem with literacy, etc. Yes, there is a
There's
problem.
no doubt about that.
But it's not, when you compare it to the rest of the world, we're not that much worse off, because these other countries, especially a country like Japan, they only test a small percentage of their students. In the Japanese educational system, it's much more structured than ours is. You don't have most students in what you'd call an average public school. Okay? They're ranked. They're going to have schools that are nothing but high IQ people. And of course, they're small schools too. But you're going to have all of them in one school. They're not going to be mixed up. Yeah, we've got our advanced classes and all, but not like this. And of course, those advanced schools are the ones that are giving these tests.
There was a...
It's not across the board.
There was a article I read on a Chinese person that came here from China, and she said, "Oh yeah, that was Commie Corps. We had that in China." So if you think that this isn't global, this whole package is centered around Agenda 21, one world government.
This is how to train the public, the Untermensch, the slave masses, to be good slave masses. That's bottom line. That's what this is
Believe
for.
me, this is not a conspiracy thing. I get tired of hearing that.
It doesn't matter. It's true. This is the same pattern that the Nazis used in their schooling.
Oh yeah, and I called Hicks for that, didn't I?
The communists in every major communist country have used this same pattern. Okay, it's still being used today in China, still being used today in Cuba, still being used today in North Korea in spades. So, hey, if you want to be like North Korea, keep it up, people. Don't do
Yeah.
anything about it, and you're going to live to see it, because things are moving so darn fast. Oh, I'll be dead. This is the kind of stuff we get all the time.
Oh yeah.
What about your grandchildren? Oh, I'm not going to worry about them. I'll be dead, so I don't need to worry about it. It's their problem.
I don't look at things
But
that
I'm a
way.
Christian. Oh, yeah, I'm a Christian.
But I'll tell you what, I sent that email to the school board and some of the pushback. How can you just focus on one word, Nazi?
Well, because
Read the
that's,
whole frickin' article.
again, that's because they're stupid. They're stupid. Okay?
I didn't say that.
I did. I can say it.
I'm trying to get a bill perfect.
Hey, I'm not going. I got other things to do.
But what I'm saying is that this is the type of thing you and I talk. I know we talk about this all the time, about people don't wake up. They don't get off the couch. They yell at the TV. I used to do that, but 6 years ago something happened. Just innocently went to a Tea Party thing. Now look.
Now the TV yells back at him.
Yeah. But I mean, all of this, if people think this happened by accident,
No.
I'm telling you, I have given and we have sold the Grinding Down America Agenda 21 video, and people are coming back to me saying, my God, that really puts it in place. And we have plenty of them at the Patriots. You come to the meeting, you can do, all we asked is $5. That's what we paid for it. But you got to watch that. It really puts things in perspective from way back. I think that one starts in the 30s. And it actually goes back further than that.
Well, it's all began before that, but it's all leading up to the same thing.
It's how they infiltrated the schools. It's how they infiltrated the government. I mean, Ayers is leading, professor in college after what he did in the 70s. This country is really going downhill when you got stuff like that going on.
Yeah.
And
And the good guys, which there's good people that are in prison today because of their beliefs,
exactly.
not because of what they've done. They were accused of various things and trumped up charges, etc.
We actually talked the other night about the commitment. We were talking about the Christians. Was our Come Lord Jesus meeting on Monday night, and we were talking. And one of the questions that we asked each other was, what if you were in that situation? Would you be as committed to being a Christian, or would you back down?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm dead.
There's a story.
It's that simple.
There's a story that's been going around the internet. I haven't seen it in the last about a year. There's a small church out in the country where 5 black uniformed and hooded men come into the church with guns, and they make everybody be quiet, and they tell the leader tells the congregation that anybody that wants to leave that does not consider themselves a Christian can leave. And so about 90% of the congregation gets up and leaves because they're afraid they're going to get killed if they get accused of being Christians.
Wow.
And when the 90% get up and leave, the remaining 10%, the guy in charge takes off his hood, smiles to him and says, "Okay, go about your service, fellow Christians," and they walk out. Got rid of the hypocrites. Think about it.
30. It's,
So,
I mean, there's so much going on, and people just need to wake up,
Pay attention.
get involved.
well, there's a lot more going on than we can imagine. When it happens, I'm not going to be surprised.